I think we as consumers are spoilt in 2023 with the display technologies that are available, both TVs and projectors. Because when I think about a normal sized TV, to me that's probably a 65-inch or maybe a 77-inch or maybe even bigger than that for some of you guys in the US. And that's crazy to me because I can remember back to when a 32-inch CRT TV was this huge and hugely expensive thing. And of course, the prices of TVs have massively come down in the last 5 years, which makes them more attractive. And let's face it, even a 65-inch OLED maybe TV is a very nice display, but it's actually a really rather small display when we compare it to the 120-inch screen that you can see there behind. My bad. It's actually a really rather small display when we compare it to the 120-inch screen that you can see rising there behind me. So cool, isn't it? Super cool, the fact it does that. And this is all part of the laser TV movement, which I am very new to. But let me just tell you already that once you get used to, looking at an image of this kind of size and scale, that's very clear, that's very vibrant, that's very bright and colourful and punchy and dynamic, well then it makes an impact on you. And I think, even if you then go and look at even the very best 65-inch OLED television, it's not going to have that same wow or impact on you as maybe it once did, because there is just something about looking at an image of this kind of size and scale. It's so much more like looking through this giant 100, 120 or maybe 150-inch window onto beautifully created content. This really does have some wow factor. When I think about it, the whole laser TV or ultra short throw projector concept seems like it should have made normal projectors redundant by now because of how so much more convenient they seem to be. Except, are they? Well, I think these days when we have very modern projectors like this, the XGIMI Horizon Ultra, you can see it's not that typical traditional huge giant black box that needs to hang from your ceiling. In fact, XGIMI have produced a really lovely elegant stand for the Horizon Ultra, which I'll show you and talk to you about in this video. When we have these lovely modern projectors, well then it creates a very real world quandary. What is the best? What is the best way to produce a huge image of 100, 120 or 150 inches? Is it the ultra short throw projector, or maybe is it the modern, the very modern, traditional though still long throw projector? And I have two here from the same manufacturer, two different products from XGIMI, the Horizon Ultra and the Aura. And the Aura is an ultra short throw projector, and both of them are around the same kind of price with quite a similar specification. So I've been testing both and comparing them. And I have already produced a very in-depth video review for the Horizon Ultra, so I won't be repeating myself here, but if you haven't seen it, in summary, I was shocked by how good such a compact, nicely styled and relatively affordable projector featuring Dolby Vision could be. And it's not perfect, but it's very impressive in a lot of ways. So this video is mostly going to be a review for the XGIMI Aura, which as I mentioned is similar priced with a similar spec, and it's an ultra short throw projector, but it doesn't feature Dolby Vision, so that's a major differentiator straight away. And the Aura is an impressive bit of kit when you take it out of the box, and I think XGIMI have done a very good job with the styling of quite a difficult thing to make look nice. It's quite large though in the flesh, do bear that in mind. On the front are speakers, on the rear are 3 HDMI ports, one with EARC, 2 USB ports, an optical digital audio output, a LAN connection, and there is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in also. There is a power button and air vents on the side, and then the main top recess is where our laser light source will shine its DLP 4K glory onto our screen. And the Aura is not a native 4K projector like with most more affordable projectors. It uses a Texas Instruments 0.47-inch DMD system to create the 8.3 million pixels for 4K. There is plenty of brightness here with a rated 1800 ISO lumens, which equates to 2250 ANSI lumens if you're looking to make a comparison with other products. And this laser light source will give you 20,000 hours of life, so that is 8 hours a day for nearly 7 years. It's almost instant on and off, which is great. And for color, these days, some UST projectors are claiming performance well beyond what even seems possible. But the Aura is not one of those, with a claimed 90% of Rec 709 and 80% of DCI P3. And as I mentioned, there's no Dolby Vision support here, so for HDR, it's HDR10 and HLG. And the Aura features ALPD technology, which is a technology intended to make a projector have a clearer picture and a better contrast ratio. And I like that because it's essentially giving us lucky consumers more for less. And by less, I mean the price. The retail price of the Aura is £2,119, but I've posted this video just before Black Friday, and the Black Friday price, I think, is still actually of £1,719. It's a stunning projector for that price. But then I have to think about, what is the Aura? What is it looking to do? Because it's not looking to push technology boundaries here. I have two other UST projectors here that I'll be reviewing soon that are looking to do that, and both of them cost more. So if you're interested to find out about those, make sure you subscribe to the channel, of course. So I think what the Aura's intention is to give us very, very good projector picture quality performance at more real world price points, or a real world price point. And I think that's going to appeal to a lot of people. Like with a lot of modern projectors, the Aura runs on an Android platform, which means you can download a whole variety of apps through the Google Play Store. You can access pretty much everything you should want here, although Netflix is always the trickier one for some reason. But I have to question, should you use the built-in streamer? Well, for convenience, of course, but I think for user experience quality, maybe not. But don't get me wrong, the user experience is still very good using the built-in apps. But when you do, the Aura just runs this little bit slower. The menus are just that little bit less responsive. The picture quality of some apps like YouTube and Disney Plus can be very good, but for me they don't seem as good as when streaming the same content from, say, an Apple TV box. And I also noticed something strange with the Disney Plus app. The colours are very red, but they fix themselves when you change the color profile in the menu, and they stay fixed even if you change back to the previous mode you was using before. So this is kind of maybe some kind of glitch or something going on. So this is hopefully something that Disney or XGIMI will fix with an app update or a firmware update, the usual kind of thing. But more important for me is when I looked at the same content now from an Apple TV box, I think you can see that the image quality looks noticeably better. I don't know what the cause for this is, but I am using the exact same internet, the exact same account, and the exact same streaming service. But either way, I think you'll agree with me from this tiny little clip that I've showed you that playing The Greatest Showman from Disney Plus from an Apple TV box through the XGIMI Aura onto the screen that I have here was really very impressive. The Aura menu system and structure is very simple to use, and I would advise you to first look at the overall projector settings, especially the brightness, and decide what best suits your needs. I am using an ambient light rejection screen designed for ultra short throw projectors made by AWOL Vision, and it has a 0.6 gain, so I preferred the bright setting. And there is a custom setting to allow for some white balance adjustments to the image, but it's a very basic set of image calibration controls. Of course, there are controls for adjusting basic stuff like brightness, contrast and color saturation, but if you're an image purity calibration nut, this will likely not be enough control to satisfy you. But for everyone else, I think, like I did, they'll find it relatively easy to, just by eye, use the controls to create a very nice image. It's very colourful, very bright, very punchy, really quite dynamic, and just infinitely enjoyable to sit and watch. With impressive black levels and contrast, aided by the very high quality AWOL Vision screen in my non-light controlled room. And I expected the initial setup and alignment and everything of the Aura projector to be really easy and simple, but it actually took me quite a bit more time and fiddling than I expected it to. But this is my first time ever setting up an ultra short throw projector. Do take that into account, but obviously there is a little bit more to think about here than I was expecting. And I definitely didn't get things perfectly aligned, but you don't really need it absolutely perfect when the image is this big. One thing that is missing here compared to the Horizon Ultra is the many automated setup procedures such as auto keystone, auto alignment and auto focus. That is all manual here, but I don't mind that because it doesn't take long to do it manually, and there is something gratifying in being hands-on and setting everything yourself. But I think it means, and it probably is the case with all ultra short throw projectors, that getting it level with your screen, or maybe if the screen's not exactly level, then the projector needs to match that non-level aspect. I think trying to get all that correct, is really, really important. It's just as important and, finicky and thing to think about when we're setting up a long throw projector on a screen. There is a chart on the HGIMI website that gives you the distances you need the Aura to be away from and below the screen for each specific screen size. So I think the moral of this story is a UST projector on the face of it, or a laser TV on the face of it, seems like it will be this ultra simple and easy and convenient thing. And in a lot of regards it is, but there's still things you need to think about when it comes to setup and where you place a screen and the relationship of the projector to the screen. All of those things are still really, really important. And as I mentioned, it's just as critical and important as thinking about a long throw projector's throw ratio, etc. for a screen. So it's just different, but still just as important to think about and plan, and plan for these things. When it comes to picture quality, once I had got things set up how I like them in the menu system, I've been nothing but impressed with the picture quality really from the Aura. It's bright, punchy, colourful, with good contrast levels and good black levels. At times I did find the blacks to be maybe a little crushed, but they are black and not grey, so I'll take a little crush over a raised black floor. Colours are maybe not the very best or the most vivid that I have seen, and they are of course unlikely to be perfectly accurate without a calibration, but you know what, I did not care, because they looked excellent to me in the main, and they did not detract from me enjoying anything by making me keep fiddling with the settings in the menu system, and I always take a lot from that. In fact, I found the Aura to be a real pleasure to sit and watch. The motion is excellent and the detail levels are extremely impressive. Even the shadow details in the grey areas of the image are good, and in the main it's a clean overall image. So when you scale that up to 120 inches from about 3.5 meters away, the image is sharp and it's just very satisfying to sit and watch. And at this size of image, combined with this level of quality, as I mentioned before, it's like you're looking through a giant window onto a life-size event happening in front of you. And that just makes the whole thing that bit more immersive. Being a DLP projector, I did notice some rainbow effects, but only when I was adjusting the keystone correction, never when watching any content. And my overall positive experience has definitely been aided by the exceptionally good sound. And I actually can't believe that I'm saying that. But the sound is coming from Harman Kardon branded 2 tweeters and 2 woofers, so essentially stereo speakers with 15 watts each. And being honest, the bass is extremely limited for its extension. There is no deep bass. I don't think we should really expect that. But actually, the punchiness of the bass and just the way that kind of sound hits you is surprisingly impressive. And that's possibly because I had the Aura on the floor and then the floor was kind of boosting the bass a little bit. Do take that into account. But I've got to say, the sound's been impressive for creating a soundstage, left to right stereo width soundstage, and also some pseudo surround types of effects at times. So that's extremely impressive when we think the Aura is a single box solution And really it's a projector, so getting that kind of good sound quality is extremely impressive. Will it replace a soundbar or a good soundbar? Of course not, and definitely not a big system. But if you're only in a smaller type of room and you was only thinking of investing in a very cheap soundbar, maybe you wouldn't need to here. But how does the Aura compare to the more traditional but still modern long throw Horizon Ultra? And I've got to say, I do really love the new stand that XGIMI have designed for the Horizon Ultra. I just love the colour of it and the fact you can adjust its height, and more the fact that now that ugly power brick gets installed inside the base. That is very clever. And the fact the power cable is then hidden inside the stand, and even the way that you install that is really easy. There's been some real clever thinking here with the overall design. And then there is a gimbal adjustment so that we can angle our projector so that the light beam more accurately hits our screen. So this is all a lovely, lovely addition to an already lovely product. So it makes the whole inconvenience factor of having something like this in your room somewhere that bit more accessible, that bit more attractive and easy to do. But for the most optimal position in my room, for the Horizon Ultra to shine onto a 120-inch screen was of course exactly where I sit, just as typical as that gets. So that meant I had to have the Horizon Ultra slightly off to the side, which is absolutely fine because of its keystone adjustment, and most of that was done automatically. But obviously, of course, having that over to the side comes with its own set of maybe inconvenience. And of course, the sound from it is then not as good as having something right in the center in front of the screen. And the sound from the Horizon Ultra is definitely not as good as from the Aura either. So there's a few factors here to consider or to take into account. Of course, you could mount the Horizon Ultra on some kind of mount above your head, but it kind of just almost seems more practical and sensible to just have something in front of your screen, such as the Aura. Watching the Horizon Ultra, you definitely still get that excellent image that I liked from its review, but I just preferred the image from the Aura. The colours and contrast and just how the image felt to me in every regard, I just preferred. But it's important to remember I do have a screen that's designed for ultra short throw projectors, so there's definitely something in that for my experience here. But I think I can see why the Aura is more expensive than the Horizon Ultra. It seems to perform better for its contrast and black levels, and therefore you get a bit better colour saturation. I think the movement as well of the image was possibly a little better from the Aura also. Again, that could just be the relationship of this projector and the screen. But what I think is interesting about this, I could see some obvious similarities in the menu system, how you set things up, but also in just the look. I could see obvious similarities between the Aura and the Horizon Ultra. So I think that means if you really like one of them, then you're very likely to also like the other one. There's enough similarities there for me to make that recommendation. So to conclude this long review, my current reality from all of my testing is that so far, yes, the Horizon Ultra is offering a number of advanced features over the Aura for less money. Better calibration features, more auto features and Dolby Vision. But I still prefer the Aura to sit and watch. And I also just prefer the image coming from the front of the room, because that means when people maybe want to walk across the room, you don't get that eye protection kicking in, or you don't get shadows cast on the screen from the people walking across the room, which normally means they can't walk across. So having the the screen and display and everything all up just kind of one end of the room, of course that is far more convenient. It just makes more sense in the real world. But I'll be honest, it does feel weird just having a projector sat on my floor. I don't know how practical that would be as a long-term solution. I think most people would likely want to find a more elegant solution than that. And I think once you're committed to the laser TV life, then it's going to make sense to find some really nice solution that suits you and your home. And also the practicality of a laser TV in a light room and an ambient light kind of room. And the Aura looked okay when I turned my lights on. I've been showing you clips of lights on and lights off, but it definitely looks better in a darker room, or in the as much or as dark as maybe I could get it. So that's definitely, of course, something else to consider here. But I've got to say, the whole laser TV concept, how that looks, I was expecting there to be a massive sacrifice to image quality for having the convenience of the laser TV type setup. I actually found it to be the opposite, and that's something that I'm really surprised by, really interested in, and I'm totally smitten actually by the whole concept, having this giant screen. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it's once you've seen it, once you've kind of got a taste of that big image, it leaves a very lasting impression on you. And the Aura, I think, is a really interesting product because of what it's trying to do. It's trying to give you a very good overall image across varieties of, normal SDR, HDR, etc., 3D and gaming. They're not something that I tested, but obviously it would be suitable for both. And I think it's trying to do that with simplicity without breaking the bank too much. And I think it's the combination of all of those things with a very nicely styled product that will be what most people love about it the most. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful and helpful. If you enjoy my take on projectors in this instance, maybe consider subscribing to the channel. And if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up.